Welcome to Netherby Hall. Each year, we host a number of events ranging from our afternoon teas to our ever-popular car show. If you're looking for a holiday, you can come and stay with us in our 5-star luxury accommodation. Or if you love good food, we have a delightful pub called the Pentonbridge Inn. To find out more, you can go on our website for photographs and information, netherbyhall.co.uk. This year we're delighted to introduce a new concert series featuring music and art. In the future we look forward to welcoming you to Netherby Hall, but for the time being these events will take place online. Enjoy!
The connection between nature and music is a really prolific one. From composers who lived hundreds of years ago to composers that live now, nature is a theme that appears all the time. And I think the reason behind that is because it's one of the few things that everybody shares in common. Whether you're a musician or not a musician, a composer or not a composer, we're surrounded by nature, we're amazed by the world around us. And so many people, artistically and otherwise, take huge inspiration from these things going on around us. It's the one thing that we absolutely all share in common.
I think nature is so inspirational because not only are we part of nature or part of the natural world, that it just has an emotional effect on us. And I think anything that has an emotional effect on us, it will inspire us. But whether you're sort of by the sea or whether you're looking at a sunset or whether you're looking at sort of repeat patterns that can be found in mosses or in cells, or I just find it infinitely inspirational, and I find it hard to keep nature out of my paintings. I mean, I was born in the Lake District in the mountains, and the pattern of those particular hills that I saw as a child every day, I tend to sneak them in my paintings all the time. So yeah, I can't keep the natural world out of my paintings.
One of the first pieces that we actually decided to perform was the sonata, the Undine sonata by Reinecke. The story of Undine is a traditional German fairy story, and actually it's a little bit like The Little Mermaid, but much, much darker. And it's a long and very, very complicated story with lots of other stories going on within the story. But the quick version is that Undine was a water nymph, but she kind of took a much more human form the more time she spent with human beings. And one day she met and fell in love with a knight, a guy called Hildebrand. And he was completely smitten with Undine from the moment he saw her, even though he had met a girl a few weeks previously who he quite liked as well. But immediately he forgot all about her and he decided he wanted to marry Undine. So he did. He asked her to marry him and she said yes. And she went back to his castle where he lived. He was a very wealthy man. And they had a great time together. They were really happy for a few weeks until the girl who Hildebrand had asked out on a date before, a girl called Bathilda, she came knocking on his door and she said, "Hey, what happened to you? Where did you go?" And he said, "Oh, I forgot to tell you. I met someone and I married her. This is Undine." Now, at this point in the story, there's a huge amount of things that go on which imply that actually Undine and Bathilda were babies swapped at birth and all this kind of stuff, but we're not going to go in there. We're going to stick with the main story. What weirdly happened was Bathilda and Undine became quite good friends and they were hanging about together and having a good time. And they decided one day they really wanted to visit Vienna, beautiful city they'd never been. So they said to Hildebrand, "You're a wealthy guy, you have a boat, get your boat ready and let's go to Vienna." So he did. He got his crew and his staff and they all got on this beautiful boat and they sailed down the Danube to Vienna. Now, Undine's relatives who controlled the sea and the weather, because she was a water nymph, of course, they were not happy about this. So they created storms and waves, and this little boat was being thrown about, and everybody was feeling seasick and unwell. And Hildebrand, who knew of Undine's past, he said to her, "Go to the front of the boat and talk to them and try and get them to stop this terrible journey and let us have good weather." So Undine went to the front of the boat and she's pleading with her uncle, the kind of lord of the sea, to stop this terrible weather so they could pass safely. But he won't do it, and it gets worse and worse and worse. And Hildebrand, under his breath, he mutters, "I wish I just had married Bathilda." And Undine heard this, and immediately her heart broke. And at that second, she started to change back from her human form into water nymph. And she jumped over the side of the boat, never to be seen again. Hildebrand was horrified that he'd done this. It was just in a moment of weakness. Anyway, they turned the boat around and they went back to his castle. And a few weeks later, he was a little sly and he actually got together with Bathilda and they ended up getting married and they had a nice, happy life together. However, one night, through the drains in the castle appeared this water nymph, which was Undine, of course. And she crept into their bedroom while they were sleeping and she planted a kiss on Hildebrand, which immediately killed him. And she picked up his body and she carried his dead body back into the sea. And actually the melody that you hear right in the middle of the sonata, which is the love melody between Hildebrand and Undine meeting, is the exact same melody that you hear again when she carries his dead, lifeless body back into the sea.
you.